Good evening and welcome back to the Black Lodge. It is me, David, at Drinks Whiskey, and it is Saturday Night Drams, and of course it is Post-OSWA Afters, so welcome back to my gaff. We're going to be discussing all things OSWA this evening. You might notice there's no music in the background because I updated the iOS on Apple, and now the music won't work through the thing, so you're going to have to forgive me tonight. In fact, I could probably just take the headphones off because I can talk to myself, but it sounds a bit weird. So I'm going to do it this way. I hope you are all doing well. Wow, some big announcements at the end there of the OSWAs. What do we think about that? You'll also find that the chat in here is a bit funny. Petehead, Frank, called it out. YouTube are tweaking and twiddling with live streams and that. And I don't know what's going on. I've had a look quickly using Gemini, and it seems like there's not a lot you can do. If you scroll up through the chat way at the beginning, it tells you how you can change your username to be something cleaner. I do know that when you've tried to use chat on the phones and stuff before, it's really hard to tag people in. But anyway, that's the admin bit out the way. Great to have you all in this evening. Now, I hope you all can hear me loud and clear. I'm going to just make sure everything's running as it is, because that little bit of a snag, that snafu of not being able to see what's going on with the music has flung me. It's always something. I've spent hours setting this up tonight, and there's always something that goes wrong. But anyway, you're not here to listen to me complain about what you can't hear or is in the background anyway. But aye, OSWAs. We're here to talk about the OSWAs this evening. We've got some chat. We've got the usual bits and pieces to do. We're going to go straight in now. The chat started early tonight because a lot of you guys came over early. Now, I was a little bit maybe naive in thinking that maybe, I thought the OSWAs finished about 8:30, maybe 9 o'clock. So I was scheduled for 9:45. Lo and behold, I've pushed back to 10, but what an evening it was. Fantastic as usual. Fallow year next year. What are we going to do? What are we going to do in the OSWAs? It's been 5 years of like really enjoying this night. Looking forward to it, participating, contributing to it, voting in it, everybody just getting involved. But yeah, let's see who have we got. Let's see who we've got in. MP Maltman's in. Great to have you in, mate. We've got PX Woodhouse is in. Welcome in, mate. James Morgan's in. Greg Whiskey Guide's in. Jeff Whiskey's about. Welcome, Jeff. Billy Bennett's in. Fantastic. He's on the Springbank Cask Strength 12. We're going to get there. We're going to get onto these soon enough as well. David Owen's in. Great to have you in, mate. Bowman 1999. Bring on the after party. Guys, as usual, we always get into it. If you're new here on Saturday Night Drams, what's in your glass? Let us know what is in your glass. You're probably hearing I don't know if you can hear the dog barking outside. It's been like being in a war zone with fireworks going off and everything. Stressful to say the least, but we're here and we're doing it. Derek, brilliant to have you in, mate. Petehead's in. Good evening. Chris is in. Fantastic. Dutch Jura. Whiskey Mechanic's in. Evening all, starting my Springbank flight with the 5-year-old. Fantastic. Did not like it when I sampled it. I found that it's grown on me, the 5. I did it live on here a couple of streams back, and against the 10, it brought out things on both of them. It gets better with time. It definitely gets better with time. And I think that's what you just said there. Alan Smith, Alan saying loud and clear, fantastic. So glad that you can hear me. Everything's going well. And Lowlander saying, yeah, you've got to love an update. Yeah, it's honestly, I put off doing it so long. I was dreading updating it, and I've updated it, and of course something. There's so many bits, fiddly bits, and yesterday it was like the stream deck that I used to control the different cameras and montages. That just was dead, just wasn't working, and it took me 2 hours to fix that. Aye, you can hear the stress will ease off. Mac's in. Evening, Mac. They stuck our vignettes together. That made me happy. Mac, I had the fear again. I've had a very fearful day that maybe it didn't work, because this year, rather than do it, Roy asked for it in a Google Drive. This year it was in Dropbox, and then the email came round saying, make sure you've sent it. And then I was like, have I sent it? So great to see yours. I was very relieved to see mine, because it was like, okay, it's went through. I can't wait to get chatting with you guys about the evening, because what a night it's been. Who else we got in? We've got Julian Rickman in. Julian, great to have you. I'm getting to the bottom. We've got Whiskey Bloke in. I'm pretty sure I know it. I'm sure that's John. And then, folks, I'm a bit 6 strands in. Don't know how long I can stay awake. Oh, don't you worry. We'll keep you going. There's some belters to watch, so if you need to watch it and catch up, I have been a busy guy to get this stream sorted today. Greg's Whiskey Guy saying, sorry, Drinks Whiskey didn't work for me. Change handle, some ID problems on YouTube. Yeah, there seems to be. I know they're putting a huge push on live streams on YouTube at the moment, and I think they're messing about stuff as well, and so that's really annoying me. Marco, great to have you in. Thanks for joining. And Alan saying that in the glass he has Equinox and Solstice 15-year-old. And then I just say the usual suspects are in. Lowlanders on the green tea. Is that in anticipation for next week? Chris has Thompson Brothers North British in the glass. Brilliant. And there's Tim, evening again. Right, I'm going to do my usual. I'm going to switch to what is in the glass just now. I have, in this, I had my usual 12, Glenmoe 12, Glenmorangie 12, just to get the palate going. I just wanted something a wee bit more, but no as punchy either. So I went for the Quinta Rubin 14. Just to get the palate moving, get a wee bit of jamminess into it, get stuff moving, make it feel alright. Toby, good evening. Drinks Whiskey, 2 glasses in front now. Early impressions of Roy's Glasgow and a Signatory Glenord. We're going to come on to Roy's Glasgow bottle, and we'll definitely be chatting about it. And as Pete had said, the names, I'm probably going to do this in about an hour again. Your names seem to have changed in the chat. If you go right up to the top of the chat, I've put it there. I'm also trying to see if Gemini said they could try and help me do something, but it's a bit of a nightmare. So have a play around, but don't panic. If anything, it'll be a one and done. You'll find a way of sorting it. So drams tonight. What we lined up. So I lined these up pre-end of show. OSWA, obviously. I was trying to go in theme with them and go, what can we do? We have had to go for a Signatory vintage, of course. Couldn't not have a Signatory vintage. So we have the Ben Rinnes, my second favourite drama last year. Kubokin 15 won it for me, but that bottle is unbelievable, and I've been eking it out. I flung the rare breed in there, the Wild Turkey, because of the People's Choice. Full disclosure, you'll see what I voted for coming up later. I've just realised I've not updated my little dram thing going along the bottom, so just ignore that. I have, of course, the Springbank 12, cask strength, aged 12 years old. Belter of a dram. I have, as chance would have it, the Ardnahoe small batch Aquavitae Barflies special bottling, which is banging. Anybody that's not had it, one of the best, of course. And then couldn't not have Ardnahoe. And look, there's his wee face down there, the man himself, Ralphie. A bit of a theme this evening. No rhyme or reason to what order these are going to go in, because I'm going to enjoy them all regardless. But that's the kind of mindset for this evening. Let me get back up into the chat. What we got going? Housekeeping, guys. If you can, hit that like button. Get it out to as many people as possible. I have the worst name in YouTube search. So when you search for Drinks Whisky, you'll get a load of content about drinks and whiskey, and none of mine. So please, every like helps push it out to people, especially people that are flicking through after post-OSWA. Probably those that have went to the bathroom and got some food and dinner. Fair night worker, great night walker, great to have you in. Hello evening and everyone. Long time since I talked to many of you. Love it when everybody just moves over from one. Billy's saying the 12's still not available, just the 10. I need to get a 10 and just compare them side by side. Because I don't know if there's batch variants even with the 12. Because normally it hits me and it goes quite well. But the one I had tonight, it just wasn't tickling what I needed it to do. Hence why I went for the 14. And then watching the Oswald, I only had one dram at the start, which was the Altmore. I think it's 14, 16. Mystery malt. And I had a bottle of fantastic German. This is now available in my local supermarket. It's like free for £6. So delighted with that. What else we got in? What's going on here? Just trying to keep up with the chat, guys. Everybody's at great form this evening. Any Wireworks in my collection? I have the first bottle of bourbon cask that they put out, and I've never brought myself to open it. I need to buy some, but I think I've said this before on the streams. It's the bourbon cask is the best, so I just need to pick up a bottle of bourbon cask. But the problem is, next week is Glasgow. All the pennies have been saved. I'm trying my hardest not to spend on any bottles at the moment, bar the odd one here or there. So after that, probably December, I will pick one up for Christmas time. Royal, oh, there's an after party. Good of you to find us. Welcome in. Everybody's loosening their tie. Everybody's taking their slippers off, getting the party dancing shoes on, pouring the good drams. And then I'm seeing here. Let's see. I'm just trying to catch. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to catch up with the chat in two different places. It's moving fast. Billy saying, "Oh, if I'm still awake when you come to the Ardnahoe, I will open my bottle and take the first taste." Well, you know what? I don't even care if it's peated. That'll be the next dram. So we'll just go for it. It's really good, and it gets better with a bit of time in it. I did a wee Instagram reel of me opening it and trying it for the first time and just giving a really honest opinion. And even at the first pour, that they know what they're doing there. They really know what they're doing, and I think that's a key factor in the awards this evening. Josie, did you manage to pick up the new Ardnahoe 5-year-old? No, not yet. Not yet. As I said, I'm holding back for Glasgow next week because I'm going to do a hell of a lot of dram tasting of things that I need to get into and pick up. I don't know off the top of my head, and that's my plan this week. Once I get this stream out the way, I'm out tomorrow with my brother, and then I've got a work week, and then I'm either going to Glasgow Thursday or Friday. I still don't know. I'm definitely booked on Friday morning, but I might fly up Thursday afternoon if I can get my flight changed. And oi, Drinks Whisky, what's your Glasgow plans? That's what I'm just saying. My Glasgow plans are, I don't know yet. So I might go up because I might punish myself with a ticket. I might have the chance of getting tickets to the football on Thursday night. I might just torture myself with that because why not? That's what European football's been about this season. And see my dad, but I'm definitely there Friday morning. So I'm in Glasgow Friday. I'm bringing two friends up, but because of kids, we're all flying up in separate flights now, as opposed to on the same flight. So we're spaced out over the space of 3-4 hours. We have dinner booked in Merchant City on Friday evening, and that is it for the Friday. So we're going to be quite loose. I think we might try and start at the Gate. If you've not been to the Gate, it's just next to the Barrowlands. Fantastic whiskey bar. Van Winkle's is beside it, and they have a few bourbons, but I've not been in there for a while, so I don't know what they're priced at in Van Winkle's. But the Gate is a great place. Get a half pint of beer, get a good whiskey, and then you can just work your way into town. We're staying in the East End, so that's protocol, and that's why we're doing dinner in Merchant City. And then we'll probably end up in the Pot Still, likely. Save the Bon Accord for Saturday. Up early Saturday, get some breakfast, first session, then we're going for a curry, not doing the aquavit. Barflies curry, we're just going to go for a curry ourselves, and then we'll be in the Bon Accord. Probably there's a great wee pub round the corner from the Bon Accord as well, so we might go there first, just have a couple of quite like post meal pint drink, and then in the madness that is the Bon Accord on Saturday, and then on the Sunday I am there participating in the aquavit blind challenge, and then I've got an 8 p.m. flight. So wishes well at that. So that's my Glasgow plans. And I appreciate a lot of you guys have come in here for OSWA chat, and we will get to the OSWA chat. We will. I'm just catching up on everybody that's flying in to this at the moment. And we've got Lowlander saying enjoyed part 2 of the Highland trip video. You really lucked with the weather again. So patrons, let's give a shout out to the Patreons as we always do. The patrons get exclusive first view access, ad-free to YouTube videos, and the latest and greatest is up, which is part 2 of the Great North Run, which confuses a lot of people, because why make it simple? When I did a road trip with my 20-year friendship American friend Jack, for our 20th anniversary of being mates, we went up north very quickly and did a lot of whiskey stuff. Part 1's up there on the YouTube channel. You can watch it if you've not seen it already. Hit up Dornoch, hit up Edinburgh, hit up Glasgow. It's a lot in one day. Part 2 is coming, and it's funny because when I do these road trips, the same as the American videos, the first couple of videos they're really planned. I get a script it and I know what I want, and then by this like part 2 of this, I'm just like, I'm knackered. I've been driving. I just want to enjoy myself and have a few drams, and a few drams were had, but really enjoyed it. Part 3 is now about to commence the edit. It's going to be it's like that picture when you see you drawing the horse, and it's like the fee, and by the end of it, it's just like sticks. That's what I feel like part 3 is going to be like. But massive thank out to all the Patreon supporters. Without your support, like, you guys keep me motivated for this, and the chat and stuff is fantastic as always. So yeah, if you want to join, you know the Patreon drill. Most of these, have a look and see what is available there. Let me get the comment off. So OSWAs, I've just seen that there. I know I'm Peterhead, I'm leaving this Sunday. I know, but I have responsibilities as a father, which means I have to get home quicker than most. Especially with her being 2. So my poor wife, she is a saint. She's letting me come up for the long weekend, long enough. Especially if I got up on the Thursday. The Monday's just a push too far. So aye, we've done the dram guide, done that. OSWAs. How do we want to do this, guys? I'm going to open the floor to you. We can either discuss the winners off the bat, or shall we just go straight into the big news? Let's go. OSWA's being a fallow year next year. So basically it's going to be one on, one off moving forward. Next year's going to be off, and it's going to be 2027 before the next one. Now, I saw in the chat during the OSWA, after that announcement, a lot of people saying, yep, I agree. I think this is a good idea. Now, do you agree with that? Personally, I can see where they're coming from, and I know the amount of effort that goes into it. I know that Jeff has also said with the English Whisky Festival, just how much work goes into it. I think what Roy and Ralphie and the team behind it have created in 5 years is nothing short of phenomenal. Like, you see the excitement of the brands, and by brands, it's no brands, by the whiskey makers and the people behind it who genuinely are so excited, because if you build out an audience and people buying your product, really the OSWAs represents the core. And without the core, you're going to struggle to build out. Don't get me wrong, there's whiskey brands out there that don't have the core, they just have the outside, but that's their lane and that's fine, that's where they want to be. So I think I'm sure it's with a bit of a heavy heart that they're doing it. I've not spoke to Roy or anybody about it. I don't know. The announcement came as a shock to me. But I can see where they're coming from in terms of the work. I don't think it's a plea for, we need more staff, or we need What's going on there? I've got something to click. Nah, I'm not clicking on that. Everything's going a bit funny in here. But I think it is fair for them to do it how they're saying they're going to be doing it. PS saying, since we'll move to skip to every other year, I've heard both Roy and Jeff complain about the amount of work. Yeah, and it is a lot of work. I don't think they're complaining about it. I think it's a bit thankless, because people will always complain that what they want to vote for isn't there to vote for and whatever. And I know firsthand this year, because I was one of the many contributors, just how extensive the contribution process was this year compared to any other year. And the spreadsheets that were shared of, here's all the patrons of Roy and Rafi, what they've suggested, and it was a lot, like, for us to take in and vote on, and push forward our ideas, but at the same time to manage that level of data and keep everything going. And Roy does it really well, like even on the VPubs, he condenses that information and like when he does his polls and he does his patron asks and stuff like that, but it's a lot of work. It is a lot of work. So I can understand it. I'm purely selfish reasons. I enjoy this night of the year. I really do. Last year I jumped on and did a really quick live stream right after it, just off the cuff, and it was too kind of haphazard, and that's why I was like, this year we're going to do a proper afters to just digest everything that's went on, and then there'll be chat for days after it. But for us, a lot of the people in the chat will be in Glasgow next week as well. So for us, it's like quick and fast. It'll move past quite quick. So I wanted to kind of spend the time to sit on it. Now, shall we jump in to the winning? What won? We can do a few of these, and then hopefully I've set this up. Or shall we? Yeah, let's jump straight into it. So we're going to go straight to the first category and just talk about the winner, and if we feel it was compelling. And please, in the chat, guys, let me know, what did you vote for in this category? Do you agree with it? Do you not? And the first category we have is best value. And the winners of best value, of course, was Signatory 100 series. Now, I saw some chat that this winning dram caused a little bit of controversy. Because it's not a whiskey. It's a collection of whiskey. So it's an interesting one. PX is saying possibly alternate with the English Whisky Awards. Yes, I think you could do that. I think there's always an appetite for more content and more things. I've got an idea. I've got in England have an idea of something I would love to do, but not me. It's not an alone thing. It's more a community thing. But these things it's so much effort. It's a lot of effort, and it's just who wants to do that. So we've got Alan. Alan's coming in. Let me see. First up, Hamish, never apologise, you're here, mate. Great to have you in. So Alan's saying Signatory is a funny one. I think it's great for the consumer. I'm not sure from the small independent bottle perspective that it's a good thing. Yeah, because I think the category of this is best value. Something that presents best value. I'm going to hold off telling you. I'm going to go through all these and then we can talk about what I voted for and my reasoning behind it. But I'd love to hear your point of view on it. What have we got up here? Sorry guys, I'm just trying to keep up with the chat because there's so many in the night. It's fantastic. Yeah, I'm just seeing oh goodness. I'm seeing Tony's mentioning about the air traffic controllers and the calling sick, don't blame them, and the flights, and yeah, it's a bit of a nightmare over there at the moment, isn't it? With everything going on. But were we happy? He's on saying, I know it's arranged, but it's damn good value. Yeah, exactly. Were we happy? Are we all in agreement that this was a fair winner, or do we know, like, do we think it should be something else, or what are we thinking? We can kind of go through them all. We don't need to sit in these. Hamish is saying that he would have loved. This I think there we go. I'd love to have seen Thompson Brothers win it, but they're a great mystery bottle series. Like the winner is always going to have more chances to win than a single bottle. Yeah, the mystery bottle series is also a punt, isn't it? You're taking a punt. You've got that wee element, that mystery danger there. And in value, you can kind of go loads of different ways. I can say as a contributor at the very start, I put in Glenmorangie 12. Because I was like, look, we're talking about value. Pound for pound. Supermarket whiskey, you can get it sometimes for like £28. Aye, stick that on the shelf. No one's going to complain. Because that's where my head was at for value. So I can understand why this won, because I think for so many people it covers so many boxes. But I know for someone like Frank, there's a lot of peat, there's a lot of sherry, hell of a lot of sherry. There's very few non-sherried, if any. So you're kind of, again, you're limited in that wheelhouse, aren't you? Then we've got, these have been a bit funny. There we go. Fair Night Walker is saying, I think it's okay to include series of range of whiskies. The question is, are there enough series to compete each other year by year, at least 6 or more? Yeah, no, I think that is something. I think it's, do we think that there's no many like this, to be honest. You maybe got, I'm trying to think of who puts out, because then you start to get a bit, do you bracket them all under like Living Souls? They're putting out different, so then what does Living Souls become it? And it is a bit blurry, and I can see why people were a wee bit, I'm not sure about it. But I'm just going to check and make sure that there's no more, there's a Greg point there, and Greg saying, I'm sorry to repeat myself here, but there's a lot of availability issues in several categories here, aside from pricing issues. So it all depends on everyone's location. Exactly. Yeah, it is. Toby's saying that. Oh, that just jumped. I think it works as a statement. Cask strength and quality at that price point. The Glen Odds are bourbon. Okay, the Glen Odds are. They'll be great. I've not tried them, but I love a Glen Odd. I like Singleton. I say that as if it's a bad thing. I like a Singleton. It's a time and a place. Fair saying the series gives you a wide option in terms of profile. It is not limited to one particular profile. Yeah, no, I hear you. I just think it's hard to pin it as the best value whiskey, because then we label into the independent bottlers, don't we? Right. Next up, what have we got next up? Let's see. Best blend, and this one went to the folk at Adelphi and Ardnahoe and the McLean's Nose, which I will be honest, I bought a bottle on first release. I drank the bottle, I enjoyed the bottle, and I've not bought one since. However, upon hearing that there's now a lot older stock in the McLean's Nose and stuff, I'm probably not alone in thinking, oh, I need to pick up a bottle of that and see how it's developed and how it's changed. At the time when it came out, for me, I was kind of placing it round about like the big brother, older cousin of Black Label. Like, because my uncle loves a Black Label. And I was trying to upgrade him a wee bit and push him in a direction, and I thought this would be perfect for him. Black Label's what now, like 20, 25, probably 25 quid a bottle. This is 32, 33 quid a bottle. Stretch a wee bit and just get so much more flavour, so much more profile. Make sure to stay hydrated, guys, this evening. Alan saying McLean's Nose is not for me. However, totally get why people like. So seems fair win. Oh, Alan, what about it on your palate? What's no quite gelling for you on it? I can see why it won. I can absolutely see why it won. I think it was quite a close. It was obviously close in the actual vote, and then the people's choice was quite different as well. But it seems like the whiskies get better and better. I think there is, and I know that Roy's really conscious of it, like a perceived bias from distilleries and actions and stuff that his channel and Ralphie's and loads of other channels do, kind of push people, especially when, like Greg's saying, all the stuff we can't really get here and stuff. Well, it pushes people to it. But it is interesting to see, and I wonder if there is a little bit of a bubble amongst the online community of what we like and what we don't like. I know that in like some of the whiskey groups I'm in, there's whiskies that they'll rave about that I never hear anybody else talk about. And then I don't know if it's gatekeeping where people don't want to talk about those types of whiskies or whatever. Maybe we'll see my t-shirt this evening. If it's that, I'm all for it. But there's just there's elements to it, and I'm just wondering if like that's what's happening, why McLean's noses came up. Not saying it doesn't deserve it at all, but it's just a bit of a wee trigger point there. I'm just going through, let's see. Tony's saying I'd pick a half dozen Compass Box blends over McLean's nose. Fair. Absolutely fair. I think it's because it's with the grain as well, because it gets a little bit tricky. And when we were going through the list, what people had been putting in, they were so far ranging. So this is the thing, the contributors see this list, and I'll maybe do a separate video or maybe another live stream we can talk about it, but in more detail. But the contributors list has everybody's suggestions, like everybody's, and there's a lot that's just really like single cask or single barrel or small batch or whatever, and you're just like, people aren't going to even know what these are. And I've not tried half of them, so you're kind of like, I'm not voting for those. Greg saying, forgot to say, it's also interesting to see that unlike possibly all other official contests, OSWAs do not bear any age statement considerations regarding categories like best 12-year-old, etc. Yeah, I think it's because there's so much, especially amongst us. Are we still in a position where we look at the age of whiskey? Like, I think we're getting so conditioned to good young whiskey that it's almost no really, like, I did the mystery malt and I got the Glasgow, I think it's a 4-year-old, 5-year-old, 4, 5. And I was like, oh my God, I've got such a young whiskey. I was like, okay, cool, let's see what this spirit brings. And it was great. Might like the price sub 30, yeah. Let's see. Alan saying, I'm not on the Ardnahoe train just yet. Yeah, it just never really grabbed me yet. That's absolutely fine. It's one of those things. And then Bowman, right after he's saying that he really liked it. Really likes it. And then Peter saying, confession, I've not voted at all. I cannot give a proper vote if I've not tried all the contenders. That said, I regard the OSWAs way higher than any other award, but also hardly buy new stuff. And that's fair, mate. And I think that's the beauty of it for us, and I think for the distilleries and the makers and everybody involved. There's a value to these wins, and it's quite refreshing. It's funny seeing what the industry awards are awarding, best independent bottlers, best this, best that, and what the drinkers are awarding. And I think there's a little bit of disconnect there. Not to say that some of the awards that are winning out there, official, like there's some that we've tried and I've been blown away by, and I've been like, oh my God, why are they? Yeah. Why are more people not getting involved with them? And I think part of it is because they've been professed by these industry awards as opposed to the people awards. I'm trying to be very polite and not call anything out there. Let's see what else we've got. Any more on this one? No, we're going to change to the next one. And the next winner obviously was Best Malt Blend. Now this one, I don't know why it surprised me. I don't know why it surprised me. I awarded this last year. This was the one that I read out. With my face tripping me when it won. Probably why I've not been asked back this year. But Campbeltown Loch. It's Campbeltown Loch. This was probably one that underwhelmed me a wee bit. Where I maybe think the the Springbank train carries it along the way. I have a bottle of it behind me. I nearly put it there, and I was like, I don't care. Like, it's the same bottle I had last year when I opened it and said I've got a bottle of it. I've never opened it. It's sitting there. And that's no disrespect to it at all. I'm sure it's great. But when I've tried it, it's just no. I'm like, I'd rather have Springbank, or I'd rather have like just. I've got stuff up there that I'd rather have, from the blend point of view. But I think if it's a gateway, please tell me, guys. Tell me why did you vote for it? Is this for you? I know I said I wasn't going to tell you what I voted for, but it's pretty obvious. I never voted for Campbeltown Loch this year. Billy's saying that one of the few bottles that he bought more than 2 times this year was McLean's, which is like that's why it's winning awards, because people that are buying it are drinking it. And I think there's so many of those whiskies, blended whiskies and stuff as well this year, in the last couple of years, that we keep going back to because we're just like, yes, that's tickling it. Hamish is saying in his previous life he attended a number of black tie whisky awards where it was clearly a case of who sponsored most tables won things. Way more disconcerting than anything we saw tonight. Exactly, Hamish. And there is an element of pay to play, pay to win. In these awards, certain publications, etc., regardless of industry, it's quite common. But in whiskey, especially at the moment, I'm like, why are you paying for this award? Is it worth it? But then there's other elements where I see some people winning awards and I'm really happy they're winning awards and bringing it to it, because I think sometimes there's a snobbery within our community to new people coming in and new types of whiskey. And one that I'll always back is Woven. I love Woven. I love what Pete and the team are doing over there. I think it's exciting whiskey. I think it's bringing it to different angles and different people. And if it brings people into whiskey, fantastic. But you don't hear of it. Like, I've pushed it. That was one of my contributors' votes, was Woven for one of the blends. Because it's super blend. Because I just think it's great. It does what it does. But I don't think there's enough backing in traditional whiskey communities because we have such a wide range as well. So it's one of those things where I'm happy when I see Woven pulling other industry awards. But then there are other whiskies that win. There's been a couple of best whiskey of the years, and you're just like, I've tried them, and I'm like, who the is this? Yeah, there's a couple of brands that I'm not going to name at all. Peterhead, good timing. Adelphi, 13-year-old Blair Raffle, fantastic belter of one. He's saying, cheers, price drives my choices when buying whiskey. If I'm fairly certain an individual reviewing a bottle is a similar palate, may buy that bottle, but it's not a guarantee. Again, cost is key, absolutely. And I think when you key in with other people's tastes and habits and stuff like that, and you find that there is similarity in palate and selection, by all means. But if it's too expensive, it's too expensive. Dave's saying, doesn't matter what the category's nomination are, there's always going to be a bit of unsatisfactory and controversial. Yeah, of course, and people are never always going to be happy. That's the whole point of this. Everybody will disagree, and like that's the beauty of this. And I think one of the things, and I'm going to talk about it later, is just what a great community we have in this whiskey space, especially with that OSWA community and everybody involved as well. Toby's just poured the Campbeltown Loch. It's honest and wholesome. Better blends cost a bit more. Yeah, that's it. I'm not complaining about it. It's just that for me, it's just I can understand why. I'm spoiled. I think I can understand why it wins and why people get excited by it. I'm spoiled just because I have Springbanks, and I managed to get hold of them. It's purely that's it. I'm just like, I'd rather just pour myself a cask strength or something than a Campbeltown Loch. And it's not dismissing. If someone gave me a Campbeltown Loch, I'd be delighted with it. I'm digging myself a hole in Campbeltown Loch, so we're going to move on. Winner of Best Non-Malt, which was Elijah Craig, Barrel Proof. Great. It was really good to see Roy call it just how few people voted in it, like compared to all the other categories. I casted votes in this. I like my bourbon, as you can see with the bourbon cabinet behind me and whatever. I didn't. I'm not going to tell you who I voted for in this. I'm not going to tell anybody who I vote until we get through all these. Summarising this, I think what they said about merging awards makes sense for the Online Scotch Whisky Awards, because we're kind of, I feel like they're kind of carrying some service for these brands, and they get nothing back. Like, why was no one from the like there was no one on the line for Elijah Craig? Huge opportunity missed because they jump at the hat at a cocktail class. So it's a shame. So I'm just going to skip over that. To the next one. Winner, Best Distillery. And as you can see, what an image there of the bootleg Campbeltown t-shirt that is available if you go to in the bio, link in bio, below in the box, or whatever on YouTube, the Drinks Whisky merch shop. These t-shirts have been there, here, there and everywhere. So I just thought it'd be funny to put it in here as well. Best Distillery is Springbank. Again, can't really complain about that, can you? I'd be intrigued to know how many of you guys voted for Springbank as Best Distillery. What did you guys vote for Best Distillery? Because it was such a strong category this year. I was kind of taken aback that Springbank won it, naively. I thought something else might have piped up. Correct. No shame, Lowlander. No shame. And on that note, the new t-shirts that you might see here. Ben Rinnes. So good, they named a mountain after it. So I can say about the new merch. New merch is out. And you would have seen the new merch in the in my little Vox Pop during the OSWAs as well. The Glengarry. Nae Geary gives me the fury. But let's see. Fairnight Water didn't vote in this one. Haven't tried enough of the nominees. Derek went for Loch Lomond. Public vote was Craig Ellicky. I know Craig Ellicky's the one that always surprises me. I don't drink enough Craig Ellicky at all. But people that drink it love it. They love it. Exactly, James. Exactly. First and Best Distillery was very strong this year. So many personal favourites. Yep. Grego never apologised for voting for Springbank, nor should you at all. And David saying Springbank didn't get none of my votes. And it's fair. I think that the distillery category this year was strong. As I said in the OSWA chat, the live stream chat as well, I was like, I'm keep my powder dry to go through it later on, what I voted for and the why. Because I think you should. I think for me, it's about voting for yourself, like what moves you and why, as opposed to some people can vote for what they think will win. I think this should win, without having the emotive why. Why would you want it to win? But for me, I was pretty clear on what I was going to be voting for this year. So I can see, I'm seeing a lot of banter in the chat about how people voted exactly the same. Peter saying that's completely fine. Peter thing, I don't give a fuck about awards, but I will not buy a bottle because there's an award. So exactly, yeah, a lot of us don't. I said, yes, I visited, yeah, exactly. I went for a Balvenie instead. Lowlander had the Balvenie in Craig Ellicky. I know it's not Dufton, but it's as close as we could get. And then Andrew saying, I didn't vote for Springbank. The issue for me is I only managed to try Springbank 10 due to the difficulty of purchasing Springbank. Exactly, and that's why I think that it's quite intriguing what's won tonight, based on how easy or hard it is to get. That's why I'm like, Campbeltown Loch, I can understand, because it's far easier to get. But to Andrew's point, Springbank 10, yeah, that's what most people kind of net out at, because Springbank 15, I don't see it anywhere. I've not seen any for ages. I've not had a bottle for ages. Never mind like 12 cask strengths and whatever. So it's a bit of a strange one at the moment. Next, best new distillery, Ardnahoe. So Ardnahoe taking this one. I kind of saw it coming. I think I saw it coming. In that respect, that there's a lot of momentum behind Ardnahoe just now, and by that I mean I'm not just talking about like the communities, I'm talking about it a lot, and Roy doing a bottle and stuff. The liquid's really good, and we were all kind of like taken aback when that inaugural came out. It's just how good it was. So I wasn't really. I was kind of suspected this would win. I thought some other ones might maybe come through. But so many of it aged out as well. Of what we think new distilleries are and what they can do. So it's a good win for Arnold. I think if they were doing it again next year, they're going to win it again next year. But that's probably part of the reason why they won't. And I'm seeing what Greg's saying here about the 12 cask strength. Lucky to get a decent price, but it was a rare occasion to get it. Exactly. And we'll come on to talking about those. Best new distillery, guys. I think you are all agree. I think if you have tried it, it's good. It's a good dram. And on that note, I'm going to just pour myself. If Billy's still up, I'm going to pour one. Good bottle pop, by the way. And that. That's a fair amount. Yeah, this is just... It's very good. You can trust Roy's releases. You know that he's not going to put... Nothing bad's coming out under that label at all, is there? Yeah, I think so. Fair. Seems like Ardnahoe's going to be the next big star from Isle. Happy for them. I think there's a lot of good stuff coming up that Isle way anyway. At the moment, there's a lot of changes. Even Lagavulin and stuff are changing. Killila and the Diageo structure's changing, and there's a lot. What is going on there? And James is saying, great bottleneck pour on Loch Lomond, but sometimes, yeah, I can agree with that on some ones, but I think the quality of Loch Lomond at the moment is just consistently, like, there's a level to it. I tried it at the whiskey show, just some of the standard ones. Like, there was like an open one, it's in like a Rioja cask. It was lovely, really nice. Pierre's saying the views from Ardnahoe is his background wallpaper on his computer. Hard to beat view, yeah. Stunning. And Billy's got it in the glass. Well, cheers, mate. Cheers to everybody watching at home as well. Thank you for tuning in. It's always a pleasure to have you in for Saturday Night Drams. The next time you come in, hopefully there'll be some background music playing as well. So it's not just me you have to listen to. Oh, absolute explosion of flavour coming off the corner Reuben to that. Oh, it's fantastic. Bourbon cask. Has to be bourbon. Pretty sure that if it's Roy that's picked it, it's going to be bourbon, isn't it? Just fruitiness, but then that peat and the smoke, and I hope Peathead, I hope Frank's got a bottle of this, because I would imagine this would be right up your street. Let's see, and then Dave's saying Kingsbarns. Yeah, I've had bits and pieces from them. Personally, been a wee bit underwhelmed, but I've not done enough. I like to be fair to people, and it's not a case of just judging them. I think one that really shocked me last year, I tried it at Glasgow, and if anybody's going to Glasgow this year, try it. If they're there, Clydeside. Spirit's getting better, like leaps and bounds. It's doing a bit of a Glasgow, where it's matured enough. Good, Joe, great to have you in. Welcome in. Right, on to the next one. Best Independent. Signatory. I don't think there's much of a surprise there, personally, from the the wider population. They've nailed it all the time, haven't they? And I think based on the 100 series alone, it deserves to win it. Absolutely deserves to win it. It's just very it's impressive what they've managed to do. And like watching on the OSWAs as well, the reviews of they're bringing out 100 series and they're doing. Remember all these kind of things that they were bringing out and talking about, and now here we are, a couple of years down the line, and it's smashing it. It's brilliant. Billy talking about the Ardnahoe to be 6 years old. I know, it comes with such body and depth to it. It's fantastic. Alan saying he had the Clydeside cask strength last year. Yeah, I'm really impressed. Yeah, I was impressed with it as well, genuinely. And I don't know if the person that I was dealing with on the table really is a big whiskey person, because they weren't really the conversation. I wanted to have this gushing conversation about like, oh my god, you've went through this to this, and it's so impressive. I'm so glad. I'm happy for you. Being Glaswegian, kind of rooting for you regardless. And they were just kind of, I think they were just hired for the day. They were like, all right, I'll let them know type vibe. Probably didn't help. I was about an hour and a half into the festival, but it's what it is. Peter saying he's tried several of the Ardnahoe expressions, about 10 to 15 so far, only open at the moment as official. Well, cracking dram, yeah, but it's brilliant, isn't it? You'd be delighted with what a new distillery for you. You come on the scene as well, mate. Tim saying I think the way Ardnahoe utilised Jim McEwen and others to plan and build the distillery, they were priming themselves for success. They've proven it so far with relatively young whiskey. There's a lot of heritage behind them as well, isn't there? A lot of history, a lot of heritage, even though they're new. So they know what they're doing. And I chatted with David because I kind of forgot, but at the whiskey show I was talking to David Livingston, I believe his name is. I've got his card there. I need to email him about something, but just I said to him in gushing terms, it was quite late at the whiskey show, so imagine how that was. Just how impressive what they've achieved in this period of time is. But it comes from just having good people and knowing your stuff. Alan saying, I did the tour at Clydeside this summer and was underwhelmed. Yeah, fair enough, Alan. I think the tour, I enjoyed the tour at Clyde from this is something that my mum could go to type tour. I don't think it's for, I think you would be underwhelmed. But you can leave with a bottle far cheaper than if you go up to Glengoyne. So there's that. But no, I can understand that. A bit like I went to a contortion before as well, and I was like, come on, what's going on here? So much history, you can really milk it. Do you know what I mean? Like make this a really good experience, but. Could you know, I knew it was going to be Signatory. I voted for the Thompson brothers on the back of trying a dozen from Mystery Malt Series 3. When I'd pay more than retail for the Rassi for others are well above 65. Yeah. I think I'm really intrigued to know what everybody voted for in this one, because everybody's got their favourites and everybody's got their own kind of personal shift in what they like and stuff. Independent bottlers, like there's a few, like Adelphi always puts out amazing stuff as well, and it really depends on price point. But I think Mystery Malts, I feel like, came late in the year. No, late in the year, because it's not been that long, but I think what Signatory's been doing for the last year and a half, not even a year, no, a year. That first 100 those came out, was it a year ago? It just wiped the floor with everybody else. Best World Whiskey, Wireworks, Bourbon Cask. Great winner. Personally, great winner. I've said on these streams before, I've never got around to editing the Croydon video, but I need to dig that out and I'll just put it together as some weird compilation of just weird whiskey videos all in one. But everybody was buzzing for the port release coming out. And I had it, and I think I just built up the expectation too much, and I was underwhelmed. I just said, "Can you just pull me the bourbon?" And they pulled me the bourbon, which I'd had before, and because I was just like, "I just give me that." And I was just like, this is so good. So good. I'm delighted for them. I think they deserve it. I keep getting, I always call it Wireworks. It's White Peak Distillery. It's not Wireworks. But it's it's really good. I can wax lyrically about it. It's just really good whiskey, and it deserved the win. But I'm not telling you if I voted for it yet. Alan's saying for me, the 100 proof series is a bit of a balance of quality for the price. It's a lot of 6 or 7 out of 10 for a good price. I think I'd rather spend an extra 10 or support other IBs producing 8 pluses. No, I get that as well. There's a lot. I think there's huge waves. I don't buy a lot of them, and I defer to people who maybe buy them for like splitting and stuff like that to say what's good, what's not. Like there was a Ben Nevis that came out. I kept looking at it, and at that price, I'm thinking, oh, I need to buy it. Just buy it. Dark, like cola, dark. But I just never pulled the trigger because I'm like, mate, sometimes like a 6 or 7 Ben Nevis, I'd rather, as you said, keep the money and put it somewhere else. Correct. See, some people, including me, did propose a new category like best distillery tour or best visitor centre experience when it is blend related. It could help people plan their journeys. Yeah, and I think there's going to be. I think this is what you can start to build it out, can't you? And build it out, and then I think the level of work is the same with the fallow year. There's a reason for that because this thing it gets a lot of work. And how many people have been on distillery tours recently or best visitor centre, and then will it be historical experience, and it's all going to just be Springbank winning it again anyway. You know, for the core crowd, will end up just voting for Springbank. In my opinion, I think that's what would happen. First saying Wireworks White Peak was a real surprise for me. Now I'm more curious. Yeah, I think if people who haven't tried it would know. And then no vote, haven't tried any of them. Public vote was the Indri Drew. Yeah, and Indri, I think the Indri Drew is a great whiskey, but obviously there's everything that comes behind Indri. And that's the morality of it, and like the owner, well, part owner or whatever he is. It's I think that's why people have just backed off, and I've noticed them be delisted from certain places as well, as a consequence of that, which that's what happens. So I'm surprised so many people voted for the Indri Drew, and I don't know if enough people know about what's happened there. But aye, there's the noise on Indri's when it's getting a bit quieter. The whiskey's still phenomenal. The whiskey's brilliant for what it is, like unbelievable. So yeah. Maltman saying more whiskey's too large a category in my opinion. Same issue with the new international whiskey category. I think they should remove it altogether and stick with Scottish whiskey. Yeah, you can see them doing that. I can understand why they put it in. I can understand why, because there is enough of us that dabble with bourbon and stuff like that as well, and other ones. But then there's not enough to do a Japanese whiskey thing. There's not enough to do an Irish. Do you know what I mean? Like it gets a bit bitty. So there is a place for it, but I don't know if it needs non-malt plus that. So I can it'll be tough. But as we said, this is why we do it. Let's jump down, and then I'm just seeing James saying, David, have I got? Because actually, do you have a plan for Glasgow? Well, I'll be filming it all. So I filmed at Glasgow. I filmed at the whiskey show. I really struggled this year for the whiskey show to film. I've not even looked at the footage yet because I don't think it's going to be very good. If I'm honest, because when you're on your own, I was with mates, but when you're on your own filming and trying to do the content and that, and trying to enjoy the show, it gets really hard. So I've decided for Glasgow Whisky Festival, I'm going to vlog it. I'm just going to vlog the entire weekend, similar to almost like to the road, the Highland Adventure, the Great North Run one, because I think I can do that a lot more on the fly without having to take my big equipment. But then it's also less intrusive with people, because when you're at the Whisky Festival, there's a lot of people that don't want a camera anywhere near them. So I just want to kind of try and do it that way. So I'm going to do it that way. Instagram, I'm going to be posting bits on Instagram and whatever. Plan when I'm up there is Saturday and Sunday, whiskey days. Friday, just kick about. I'm going to be taking photos and stuff for Drams on the Run for the new zine, and seeing people and doing stuff like that. But I'm kind of floating about on Friday because I want to just see as many people as possible. And by that I mean like whiskey community people. And lastly, best Scotch whisky, Springbank, 12 cask strength. What do we think? I think this one for me is probably the most controversial, because of the scarcity of it. Do I have any complaints at winning? No. From a quality point of view, absolutely not. But from a general population, general consumption, I think that it's hard to come by, to be honest. So I'm surprised that so many people voted for it. So please do let me know what you think about this category. It is probably the most contentious, in my opinion, of the winners. There was some cracking drams in there that could have won it. Especially because availability and price. There's some €18 in there and stuff that are roughly about the same price as the 12 cask strength. So it's Alan saying, yeah, spot on, David, no complaints with spirit, but if you can't buy a bottle, and I think that's what's, that's what I'm worried, as I was saying earlier, about just reputation pulling things through. And I know that Roy and Ralphie felt the same about certain things, and that's why they've done so much with the contributors list and try to get as many people involved as possible. But when it goes to the public vote, it is what it is. Yeah, exactly. And then what one are we voting for? Because if I'm honest, if it was the second batch or this year's batch of cask strength versus the one I've got here, the first batch from last year, then no. In my opinion, no. It's no. But you're not voting for a batch, are you? Either you're voting for the name. So, it's a tricky one, man. What am I saying? It's clearly aimed at the community, so I'm not surprised it won. Well, it's hard to come by for many. It's possible with a little work. Yeah, I agree. It is possible. It is possible to come by. This bottle I've got here was kindly gifted by someone that's in here tonight, which was above and beyond unbelievable. But it's a strange one. It is strange that it won at the scale it won. And we'll be all voting for different batches. Do you know what I mean? Like, who's voting for what? Chichibu on the Way was my choice for best world whiskey. I guess the price put people off. Derek saying Craig 17 was my vote. Anarch 24 for public vote. Whisky Mechanics open is 12 cask strength now. Which batch is that? Whisky Mechanic. If you go to the back of your bottle, let me grab one. If you go at the back of your bottle, I'm probably teaching you how to do something you already know. Just down there, you'll see it printed on the bottle, and it'll say the date. This one is 9th of May, 24. Pretty sure this is the bourbon, like majority bourbon over sherry. Pretty sure. Dave's saying Ben Romack, cask strength, got my people's vote. Good whiskey available at a decent price. That's what I mean. There's so many of these. And Alan's saying that the next 12 cask strength is high bourbon cask content, really good. Yeah. So that, like, I love the cask strength when it's higher bourbon than sherry. I do love my sherry Springbank, but it just tickles me the right way. That's what you ask for, isn't it? A wee tickle. So that's kind of, having went through them all, so you can see I've been busy watching the OSWAs, making all those bloody slides. Hectic as hell, but, you know, in it for the love of the game, why not? This Ardnahoe, I hope it's going down, Tommy, for you as well as it's gone for me. And I'm just seeing Greg responding, saying about the Chichi Boot, €329 here it is indeed. Not worth it for me, but 150, 170 I will have gone for it even if it's too high. It was on sale at one point in the UK. Some people dropped it down at about 200, 220. And I think at auction, you might be able to pick it up, the Chichi Boot on the way, 2024. Right guys, well, and we've went through the OSWA selection, and I think it's only fair that I now reveal what I voted for in each category. And of course, me being me, I can't just tell you, I have to show you. Oh, hello, it's yourself. It's David in the field, otherwise known as David in the woods. We're here to talk about my votes, prediction, whatever you want to call it, what I voted for in the OSWAs that I don't know who wins. First up, best value. It was a tricky one, there was a few that I fancied, but in the end I went for Signatory 100 proof series. Anywhere from 35 to 55 quid a bottle. And last year, like, really close to being my whisky of the year was the Ben Rinnes release they did for £45 I paid. Can't beat it, cannot beat it. Now for best blended Scotch, I went for something that everybody kind of knows I love, and that is the Thompson Brothers, the BSW, the blended sherry whisky. 35 quid, I think I'm on bottle number 7. It had to get my vote. I wonder if other people will think the same. Now, best malt blend. Quite a few bangers in this category, but again, I just went for myself and what I love. And for me, pound for pound, a whisky I give to people who don't like whisky to get them into whisky, and that's the Compass Box Orchard House. It's a banger, I love it. The appliness, the fruitiness of it, it just makes it irresistible to pick. Best known malt. Tricky category, a lot of bangers in this. For me, I went for the one that kind of captures my heart and captures my attention. It is getting more pricey, I don't buy it as much now, but anytime I do have it, I love it. And that's got to be the Stag, formerly Stag Junior. It's fantastic. Now, best distillery, this was a tricky one. There is a few in here that I absolutely love and adore, but I took it on the year and the whisky that I've tried this year from this distillery, and the consistency level of it is just, it's been phenomenal to watch it rise, and it's definitely became a whisky that the whisky enthusiast, the whisky geek can enjoy. And so for that reason I voted for Loch Lomond. Well done guys, man. Like, for a distillery, the scale and size of it, the output is phenomenal, and it's exciting to see what's coming next for each release. Now you could say with all the doom and gloom in the whisky industry, best new distillery is getting trickier and trickier. We're kind of watching for who's going to survive and who's going to end up in the graveyard. But the reality is, all these new distilleries, the output's getting better and better. And the one I chose for this year deserves every plaudit on its way. It's made English whiskey, and that's White Peak. Congratulations, that's my vote. Unbelievable job. Nobody even cares it's English anymore. Now when it comes to independent bottlers, the quality gets better and better. We're seeing more casks coming out and we're getting excited by it. But for me, the one that I always spend my money on, and 99% of the time it's always worthwhile, is from the lads at Dornoch, Thompson Brothers. So they got my vote in this category. Now, best world whisky opens up a whole host of opportunities and possibilities. And for me, when the shortlist came out, one that I'd put forward at the contributor stage was still there in the final shortlist. It's pricey as hell, but I had it last year at the whisky show and it just cut through everything else. It's over £240 a bottle, but it's a Chichibu on the way. I had to give it my vote. Phenomenal piece of whisky making that's going on over there for this. Definitely look it up more if you don't know much about it. But aye, that got my vote. Now, when we're talking about goats, the best Scotch whisky of the year. Now this one was a contentious one. There was a few that I could have picked, but I went for something that I love buying, I love getting, and I love trying, because there's variety every year. And that has to be the Springbank Cask Strength 12. That's what I gave my vote. I know it's hard to come by. I'm fortunate that I've managed to pick up and catch some of them, but it's just always something to look forward to. And I think that's the mark of to me, a best Scotch whisky category winner. Aye. Get it? Goats. And with that, that's my picks. Drinks Whisky's votes in the OSWAs this year. Now, if they win, they win. If they don't, they don't. It's all about contributing. It's all about having your voice and having your say. It's great for the distilleries to know that we care. They like to hear feedback. They like to know what's going on. So if any of my picks won, fantastic. If they didn't, still fantastic. There's great whisky out there, and it's not a dead cert for all these brands. Now, back to David in the Black Lodge in the future. See you next time. Trying to find my way out of here. Well, thanks for that, David. I hope you enjoyed it. I was watching the chat as all that was going on. And of course I enjoy the thing. I'm nothing if not elaborate, because I saw one of the comments saying that from Alan, saying this is so elaborate. Alan, you must be new here if you think that's elaborate. The stuff that goes on. So those were my picks. I wanted to give you a kind of insight into the thinking behind what I did. And I can see Greg, just before you go, mate, thank you so much for tuning in. As always, all the best. Have a nice rest of the weekend to you. But yeah, some of the picks, and biting my tongue because I know I'd made that, and I was like, I'm no spoiling it. But Signatory is the first one, best value. I just think from a value point of view, taking it from value, yes, we can get semantic about should it be winning because it's not a whiskey, it's a range of whiskies, blah, blah, blah. I just think you can walk in. I sent a friend of mine went to the whiskey shop, Whiskey Exchange. He's got in an office next to that, and him and his boss, and they wanted to buy a really nice bottle of whiskey for the office. And I said, just ask the guys, get the Secret Orkney, which was a Highland Park last year, 57.1%, and it's 45 quid. And he's like, oh my God, and then they open it and they're trying it and they're pouring water and they're just like blown away. And I'm like, it's not a gamble, it's great. And then through the blends, Thompson Brothers, BSW, I love it. I've got it here for a reason on the dram thing there because it's great. I always enjoy it. So I had to give it my vote for that. The Compass Box, Orchard House. I can't believe they're discontinuing it. I don't know why. Maybe they kind of get the stock. I don't understand it. But it's just apples. I did it for the charity tasting as well. It's just a very, very good. I'm hearing something weird. A very, very good whiskey for what it is, to introduce people in. And I think that kind of plays in my mind in that category, the blended malt ones. But yep, that was that one. Then we obviously went to, from there, best distillery. I went for Loch Lomond. I just like what they're doing. I think it's different. I think the distillery releases are really exciting. Distillery editions, whatever we call them. So I picked that. I'm trying to remember these categories now. Best non-malt, I went for Stag, and I kind of pushed Stag. And I also, I'd voted for Stag and I voted for 1920 Prohibition, Old Forester, because they're both great. I think Stag is just, American whiskey can get expensive, bourbon and stuff, and that kind of price point, but Stag always just, it's just a level above. And even at the charity tasting, it was 65.5%. I did a charity tasting the other week. I even spoke about it in the stream. And that was the last whiskey. It was the highest proof, and it was the one that most people asked for more of, non-whiskey drinkers, because it's bourbon, but it's such a quality product. So I gave it my vote, because that, as I said, I'm voting from what I believe. World Whiskey, I did Chichibu on the way, and I put that in at a contributor level. I don't know if I was the only one that put it in, and I pushed it, and it got all the way through, and I was amazed. And I'm amazed it got the share of vote it did. It is a proper drammer's dram, but it's a phenomenal dram. It's very expensive, and Roy even called it out on the stream that it was the most expensive bottle on it. But the level of craftsmanship in that, it's flow malted. It's fully, they've done the full process. And that's the whole purpose of On the Way. Chichibu had this dream of making it how they make it, like Springbank style and all that. Flow maltings, everything done local, like everything. It's on its way. Oh, so excited about it. On its way. And that's the first time they've done it. And it's phenomenal whiskey. So we did that. And then Whiskey of the Year, Scotch Whisky, I picked 12 cask strength of the nominations, purely because I look forward to it so much, and trying it. And even though I was criticising, going, oh, I'm not sure, whatever, it still holds up. It really does. And I'd be a hypocrite to say that I didn't enjoy it. So I've poured myself the 57.2 cask there. Yep, 57.2. The local Ballina never even gets mentioned or anything. It's so funny, isn't it? But it's just a quality dram. Just great. So that was I think that was all of the expected. Oh, no. The one that I did want to mention, best new distillery, was White Peak. And as I said there, I think it's so impressive that a distillery, especially amongst a community that can be a little bit hesitant and resistant to change at times, and the fact that it won the world whiskey is great. It's not English whiskey, it's just good whiskey, and that's a big thing. I think that's a big thing. It's like the age statement thing that's been overcome. We're now just looking at whiskey as good whiskey, and not the geography of it as such. So that's why I voted for them for best new distillery, and not Ardnahoe. Ardnahoe nearly got my vote, and I thought they're going to get the votes anyway. I want to vote for what I'm really impressed by, and that was that. Right, let me come back up to the chat, and I hope you've enjoyed those little indulge me in those videos. It took far longer than you can imagine to make than the news segments that we normally do. I nearly tried to do a news segment as well, and I was like, I'm going to kill myself. The amount of work I'm giving myself for a stream. Right, let's go back. Lowlander saying it's scary, a talking scarecrow. Alan saying beware of men in cabins in the woods. Should know that by now. Toby saying finally you live up to some Twin Peaks creepiness, Killer Bob awards. Next time, my mate, JP that came with me to Kentucky in the Kentucky trip, he dressed one year as Halloween as Bob from Twin Peaks. And Alan's already said it's so elaborate. Pete had said next year on the channel the Haunted Dram Awards. Lowlander, I'm expecting a Diageo zombie chasing drinks whiskey. Probably because of the copyright, if anything. And then Whiskey Mechanic, he's on the Springbank flight update. Where are you? Let me find it up here. 5, lovely and getting lovelier every time I have it. 10, as good as always. Only a wee drams have it a lot. 15, a tiny drams bottle getting distressingly low. Yeah. I will say with that, the 5 and the 10, go between the two and let me know what you think, because I did it on here a couple of weeks ago, and it was mad. I was getting so much orange out of the 10. Even the goats were creepy, says Toby. Have you seen The Witch? With Black Phillip is a goat in that. That inspired that segment. We should encourage a second career as a short story filmmaker. Oh, no. Keep me on the dram path. It's my second bottle of Springbank 15. I vastly prefer the first, is less sherry and it was dirtier, but still lovely stuff. For me, notwithstanding, I'm not the biggest sherry fan. Yeah, I think that the 15 does these periods. There was a period where it was really sulphury as well. And I think that's what I think I prefer when it's the like it's blended, it's sherry and it's bourbon. I prefer it when the makeup is more bourbon than sherry. I've got the 18 up there that's I found when I redid Behind There, and if you've not seen that, there's a video series of me redoing in here. And I discovered I had the 18 from last year that I'd got. I can't remember where I got it, but it's 100% bourbon 18. And I think I said I'm going to bring it up to Glasgow next week, because why not? So if you see me in Glasgow, I might have that on me. Let's see. Derek saying an alternative for Orchard House. I can never say Orchard. Is the Noble Red Orchard Outburst. Right, noted, Derek, thank you. I'll need to try that as well. I like that when it's so vibrant and fruity. Be it orangey or be it appley or whatever. I just love it because it's the chemistry of whiskey. And James, I did pick up some Pursuit United if you want a sample. What one did you end up getting in the end, James? It's great that they're over. I love that Pursuit United, anybody that doesn't know, they do the Bourbon Pursuit podcast, and then they moved out and started bottling their own stuff and going down that path, and now they have their own showroom / tasting room / tap room, whatever you want to call it, on Whiskey Row in Louisville, Kentucky. Glenn's in. Fantastic. Welcome, Glenn. Hello, I'm at the airport now for my red eye to Glasgow. Oh, mate, I'm so jealous that you're going to be there tomorrow. For the rest of us, it's a few days away yet, but mate, fantastic. I hope you're on some of the airport beers. Any drams? Hang on a minute. What's going on here? Oh my goodness! So what's happened? This is all went funny. Let me see. Everybody's saying Ted Brooks gifted 20 drinks. Ted, man, unbelievable! I've never had anybody gift anything. Welcome new members as well. That's unbelievable. I don't know what that means. I'll be honest. I just know it's amazing. Thank you so much. That's unbelievable. Thank you. I was scrolling. The chat just went like mad. So you're all members now, and I can see Codger's in as well. Been really quiet. Saying I only had a teaspoon of the 10, but I'm sure it tasted more tropical after the 5. I'll do back to backs as you say. Cheers. Yeah, I honestly recommend the back to back. If you do that, I just feel like it pulls out loads of fruit. But yeah, unbelievable. I can't believe that. I've seen that happen to other people. Unreal. God, it's still going down. Brilliant. Thank you so much. Guys, if you can, likes and subscribe and do all the things. Just while I remember the housekeeping point of view. But unbelievable. What a gesture, Ted Brooks. So welcome to all the new members of the Drinks Whiskey channel. I don't really do much on here, so I've not set up memberships and stuff like that. I know other people do. Lowlands just asked that question, saying, does membership not unlock some things like custom emojis? Apparently so. I really need to look into it. Maybe I'll do it this week. I need to figure it out. I really need to figure it out. Evening, sir. How you doing? Welcome. You've missed the spookiness, probably for the better, but if you want to go back and watch it later on, please do. We have been discussing all things OSWAs. I'd love to know. Loved your intro. Loved your vignette at the beginning. The running. How did you feel about the announcement tonight with the fallow year next year going biannual? But yeah, going back to that Lowlander, I think I will try and figure out more about the memberships. on YouTube. The thing about YouTube memberships is it's great. Just neat. It's very fiddly, and especially with all the stuff they're doing now, which is happening with everybody's name and all that. It's a little bit. It should be easier. And as James Morgan said, I didn't know you jogged for pleasure. That went down far too quick. I think just testament to the quality of the old Springer. Let me fling it back on the wheels of steel. Right, we'll put it to the masses. We have had the Ardnahoe. We have had the Springbank. I feel like I'm going to go a wee bit easier on myself. I might go here. Did I do the sherry? Sherry, be like, I have to, don't I? I have to. It's just the right thing, and it's weird. It's almost like I knew I was going to pick that one. Let me get a comment off. Because I've got my Thompson brother glass. I love these glasses, but by God, are they danger to absolutely clean and wash and be panicking that you're going to break them. Like that. I don't know if anybody spotted for my wee toast vignette thing during the OSWAs, I used a champagne glass. 10 points for Gryffindor if you know what was inside it. But it was filmed at lunchtime, so unfortunately I cheers and then I couldn't really drink it. Exactly, Cujo. It's just a quality dram, and I think, as I said, that's why I voted for it. I could have analysed all the other ones and kind of thought about it and whatever, but and McLean's Nose winning, absolutely fair. I need to try the other batches. As I said, I only had the first release batch, and I really enjoyed it, but I just never went back and bought another one. Whereas this, I'm down. This is batch 6 bottle, but I think I gifted like 3 of them to people as well. And when I did the charity tasting a couple of years ago, they went upstairs and bought like 5. It's just one of those ones. You're saying good choice, excellent blend, yeah. And then did the Bourbon not tempt you given your apparel? It did, and it will. It will do it, but we're still early. It's 11:30. We've still got a wee while to go. I just wanted something a wee bit less proof after the cask strength. Just bring it down a wee notch. And even after going from cask strength to that, there's still enough going on in that. And their batches are obviously at their parcel now, the Edrington stock, but it's still, that parcel would probably still be Edrington stock, but aye, talked myself in a hole there. Just saying, I think the biannual thing's perfect. Really enjoyed this year's OSWAs as I do every year, but hasn't really gained the annual traction it should have, so a gap year should sit well. Yeah, and I think it's also, you'll know better than most in the industry that you're in, it is getting a bit quieter. So the whisky show this year in London felt quieter, visibly, on the floor. It felt like there was more room to do stuff. It felt like there was less people pushing and shoving, and the queue went quicker, and everybody just felt a wee bit more relaxed. And I think that we're starting to see people drop out of whisky who have been in it for maybe the gains, or maybe they've got into it and then they've got out of it and whatever. And it is that kind of space, if you're not careful, you need to take a break from and stuff like that. But I think biannually, I think it's done a lot of good in the 5 years. I think it's done really well, and I think it's helped a lot. I think the whisky makers, the reason they're so invested in it, they know it helps them. I think it's really helped some of the junior brands, but junior manufacturers, the newer to market ones, Ardnahoe, Thompson Brothers, Ardnahoe this year and stuff like that. It's really shone a light on them, and I think that's what maybe they were getting at with the year on year. You don't see the change, but when you skip back, so I'm Jim. I'm like, I think whatever they want to do, it's best for them. It works as long as they don't get rid of it. As long as we get it at some point. So like I said, Thompson Brothers really changing the game. Enjoy what they're doing. Yeah, absolutely. The attitude they have as well is just top notch. Top notch. When I was up there, video if you've not seen it, the part one of the Great North Run, Drams on the Run series, when I got up to Dornoch, and it's just hospitality is unbelievable. And it's just when you see the scale of the operation versus what you've maybe not thought about, but what you would imagine in your head if you thought about it, it's phenomenal what they've done. It's phenomenal. It really is. Honestly, I think I voted for BSW because that's what was there, but I felt a bit odd voting for that, or the 99 and 1 is best blended. I was struggling with the teaspoon versus blend. Yeah, 99 and 1 I've had and enjoyed. I've had the whiskey show I tried, the Thompson Brothers and Living Souls collab, and it was exactly what I thought it would be. It tastes like this mixed with that, and I need to buy it. I want a bottle of it. I do want a bottle of it, but I go for this when I don't want the peat. So I'm trying to marry it up in my head of when would I go for that bottle? Do you know what I mean? Like, does that make sense? It's just lovely. It's so good. When I was in Dornoch, so they had, obviously, Dornoch Castle Hotel. We were there. Jack, my mate that I was with, he had a call. He had this work call between like Sydney and LA and Dornoch. So he had to have it at midnight. So I was kind of just left, while he was prepping and all that, I was left to my own devices for like an hour between like 10:30, 11:30, till 12. And some golfers and that came in. Because Royal Dornoch, famous golf course and whatever, a lot of tourists go for it. And like, oh, not big on whiskey and we like this, but we like it, a wee bit sherried and whatever. And I was like, just get the BSW. Get the BSW. And the staff are like, yeah, just get the BSW. And they had it. They're like, oh, it's nice. And then they prefer the bourbon. Which is fair. Absolutely fair. Right. What's going on in the chat? Let me see. I've missed Frank, Petehead going to sleep and waking up and whatever. And then I'm just making sure I've not missed anything. Fine, I've not missed anything there. That's good. So we've done that. We've went through the OSWAs, kind of digested everything. I think pretty fair. I think the winners, there's not really any complaints. I think there's gripes and there's some nuances that people have in it. As I said, the video I played explaining my choices, the only one that was contentious, I would say, but maybe two, would be the Stag and the Chichibu. But that's why these are awards. These awards exist. You've got to highlight some stuff, and it might not win. It's not for everybody, but I am glad that other people voted for it as well. It was great to see that a couple of people in here already mentioned those. So, that's the OSWAs chat from me. Now, there's plenty of other chat. There's lots of other chat in the whiskey world going on at the moment. Let's kick off. A couple of weeks ago, had Marcos down from Brave New Spirits. He was down in London doing tastings, previously of the parish of North Star, now at Brave New Spirits. Came down, we went for a couple of pints, took him to Devonshire, the infamous Instagram, YouTube haunt, the best pint of Guinness in London. We went there, we went to Bar Swift in Borough. He loved it. I recommended him get the Irish coffee, which I recommend to everybody. It's the best Irish coffee you'll ever have. It's bizarre, and it is. You had that. Then we went downstairs. We had a couple of drams. We had the mystery malt, which is a Dornoch. So Swift, Borough have a Dornoch mystery malt. Fantastic. Came back here. He, by all accounts, just got stuck in to the selection behind, which I was delighted with. There's nothing makes me happier than people coming back here and just racking through the shelf and digging everything out. It was a later session than expected, and the next day I wasn't hungover the next day, but I felt like felt like I climbed a mountain. The body was weak, but he's left me some little miniatures to try of Brave New Spirits, so there will be some for me or no for me of them coming up, for full disclosure. Then off the back of that, I received a wee parcel in the mail yesterday from the good folk at Adelphi / Ardnahoe. I think they're sending out samples to people in the kind of content space, of the Golden Barley, getting mixed up. Heritage Barley, but it's Golden Promise. Yeah, yeast. We've got that, and the new 10-year-old Ardnahoe, which I'm looking forward to trying. I tried the Heritage at the Whisky Show, and it's good. It's really good. And when Ralphie said at the start, I think if you've not tried it yet, you like Ardnahoe, but if you like that Golden Promise release they did last year, single cask stuff, it's really good. It's really good. But I'm going to be doing a for me or no for me of those, just pouring them and trying them again. Obviously at the Whisky Show you're trying a lot of stuff, so maybe my palate was this or that, whatever. So we'll do that. So we've got those in the pipeline. I had a really interesting one happen, which I need to reply to. I've just not had the time with the wee one and work and stuff like that. I had an English distillery, reach out to me about doing something with them. And people can get funny about stuff like that, but I'm always very full disclosure and talking about what's happening and stuff. And I'm going to go because I'm pretty sure I need to go. But this Croydon video haunts me. Not editing the Croydon Whisky Festival video yet, but I'm pretty sure I spoke to them at Croydon Whisky Festival and really enjoyed what they were doing, and I think I've been invited to go and see them. So that's in the pipeline. I'm really excited about that. Not because, oh my god, I've been invited to go somewhere, because I'm really excited about what they're doing, because nobody's talking about it at all. There's like minimal chat. It's very under the radar, and that's all I can say about it. I hate when people do that. But that's happening. We have Glasgow Whisky Festival coming up next week. Buzzing for it. Absolutely buzzing. Cannot wait. Taking the guys from down here up for the first time. And we're doing it proper. We're going for a really nice meal on the Friday night. Saturday, as I said, we're doing session 1. Food bank. Something I want to ask you guys. On the food bank, I am going to take the earnings from this stream, which I didn't even know. I think there is earnings now that there was memberships gifted or whatever. But not just that, but a chunk of the Patreon money as well. And the food bank collection, it's all going to that. We did it before last year. And so I'm going to try and load up quite a lot of the food bank stuff, because it's home. Glasgow's home, so I just want to support that, but also it's such a great cause, and it's the least we can do. So thank you guys for your contributions, because all these little things, the views, all that kind of stuff, mount up. It's not a huge amount of money, but it'll be enough to make an impact for those guys. So we'll be doing that next week. Excited for that. As we said, Saturday night's going to be mad. Sunday, cannot wait for the blind dram challenge. Based on the Dramface article. If you've not read it, go on Dramface, dig it out from last year's Whisky Festival. It's a phenomenal read. I sent it to the boys. So what happened was Roy posted on his Patreon, like, hey, this is available. I'm a patron. I was like, okay. Messaged them and I said, look, can I get free spots for this? Because I'm bringing 2 people up from London. They watch your channel, but they're not frequent YouTube viewers. They barely watch mine. I said, I want to ask before I buy free tickets. And he's like, no, absolutely, that's fine, of course. Thanks for asking. So we're coming to that, and I'm really excited for them. I've sent them the article. I don't think they've read it, so I don't think they have a clue what to expect for the tasting. So I'm really, really buzzed for that. And to answer Lowlander's question, I'll have to get dressed up. I'll wear a black tie like that lunch party in East Lothian a couple of months ago. I've done a lot of digging before I even mentioned it. It's funny you're saying that because my wife said the exact same thing. She's like, "Oh, you name all that, and then you're doing this." It's more that moving away from that, but it's really interesting what this distillery's doing, and I think there's huge potential for it to actually just be a really good whiskey, like good whiskey. And I've checked them out. It seems legit. It's passing the smell test, but until you know, but aye, and I've just seen this come in for Derek. Oh mate, too kind, too kind, mate. You didn't have to do that. That wasn't me calling out for that. It was more saying that everything that's generated, I'm gonna do it because it's a nice thing to do. But honestly, man, like that's unbelievable. Too generous. Oh mate, like Alan's just came in with one as well that will come up in a second. Ah, guys, that's not what I was calling out for, but I appreciate it. Absolutely appreciate it, and that will of course go to them. I'm saying well done for that. The feedback is always brilliant. See you next week, mate. Can't wait. Honestly, we need to get a dram. I've never had the opportunity to chat. That's why I'm really excited for that. Just hanging out with other people that do this, if that makes sense. And it's only if you do this that that makes sense. Just the opportunity to chat, shop a wee bit. But Derek, Alan, unbelievable. Thank you so much. And it'll all go to them. Part of the reason, it's genuinely part of the reason. So last year we went, I just took cash, and because I couldn't get the food, I was staying at my mum's and I was meeting friends from my whiskey group in town, and then from town going back to Hampden, and I was like, I can't physically move food from A to B. So this year I've got an Airbnb. Even though I could stay at my mum's, I've got an Airbnb so I can get the food, and I'm going to load up the taxi. But then I'm like, is that worse? Because I don't want they need to then move the food. So I don't know whether the cash thing. I might message Julie Hamilton. Maybe just ask what's best. If it's better to just give them cash and get them to buy the food, or buy the food. But either way, it means a lot. Thank you guys. Right, where's the chat? Sorry, we're talking about getting dressed up. No, not going to get dressed up. Whiskey Mechanic saying Golden Promise is now on my shopping list. Yep. And then yes, so but if you have 120 spare for the wild turkey, I believe WT is wild turkey. Is that what you're saying, James? Your message is gone. Let's do that. And then coming down. And I'll say, not sure how much YouTube sales, so just sent you a wee coffee for the bag. Thank you, mate. Really appreciate it. Don't worry, I'll make up anything YouTube take. I'll make up. This is different. I did, as I mentioned earlier, I do every year I do a charity tasting through my work, and the reason it's through my work, my day job, is because everybody knows I do. I'm a whiskey guy. I'm Scottish. I live in England. I must love whiskey, and so I lean into the stereotype, of course. And the main thing I do is normally we have a company charity, and so I do the charity thing. And the great folk at the Whiskey Exchange at Borough, I'm in there all the time. They give me their downstairs space where you can make gin and you can do whiskey blending and all that. But they give me the downstairs space for free, and then we just I invite loads of people, loads of partners of ours, and charge a decent whack for a ticket, and they pay it, but they pay it direct to the charity, because I'm like, I'm not touching the money. All the money goes to them. Do that. Oh, Jim, thank you so much, mate. Thank you very much. Too kind. Too kind. And aye, so do that. So this year we did it. If you follow me on Instagram at Drinks Whiskey, you would have already seen it. But every year I do it. This year we had 21 people. It's all my whiskey, so that's part of my input to the charity. Is I put all the whiskey up. So this year we had about 900 quid's worth of whiskey bottles, give or take. Maybe 800. And run the tasting, do it all. We raised £1,800 for charity this year. Because there was no company charity this year, I did it for Tiny Changes, which is a Scottish young person's mental health charity set up after the passing of Scott Hutchison, who was the singer at Frightened Rabbit. So we did that, over 1,800 quid raised for them. That will make a huge difference. So it's more about like, how can we use this as a really good platform without being preachy and stuff like that. So we did that. It went great. The lineup itself was something that I wanted to do for a long time. 7 Deadly Sins blind tasting. And what we did was it was just me. I picked 7 bottles from 40% up to 65.5. I put them under a sin, one of the sins, but they were blind. So people worked their way around. They went in proof order, because I would say of the 21 people, 17 don't drink whiskey regularly, to build them up. And then I paired it with different little wee foodstuffs, biscuits, Haribo, ham, different stuff. And then we went back round again, and then they were jotting it down as they went. You had to label it as a sin. So dram 1, you might label as lust, because you want more of it, etc. And it was great fun. It was really great fun. Everybody was really, really, really over-infused with it. Weirdly, all got into the 65.5% stag. Really enjoyed that. We did the bottle that I've not shown you. Maybe have I shown you? I did the For Me or No For Me of it, which was the Harp of Darkness, the Master of Malt Black Irish Whiskey. That was a kind of contentious one. The one that people liked the least was the Macallan Night on Earth in Scotland. And they were quite shocked that was Macallan, which was great. People loved the stag. We had the Klein Leash special release from 2023. It's the one with the jazz musician on the front. It's bourbon cask. Fantastic. They enjoyed that. And then one girl really surprised me from my work. Quite younger. She loved Octomore. So we had an Octomore 14.1, which I thought would just blow people's heads off. And she was like, "Can I get more of that?" And I was like, "Do you smoke?" And she's like, "No." I'm like, "Are you getting this? Are you getting this, Pete?" And she's like, "Yeah, I love it." So it just shows you expectations and stuff go out the window. Right, final dram of this evening for me. I am going to go... I kind of need to go Ben Rinnes, don't I? Or do I go Ralphie? Nah, we go Ralphie. Go back to ex-bourbon barrel, Ardnahoe. And we have... Let me find a clean glass. Petite. Yep. There we go. This bottle was picked up, if you've ever seen my video or not, of Drams in the Run, of not at the Glasgow Whisky Festival, when I went to the Glasgow Whisky Festival but didn't go, because my mum was deciding to have her 60th birthday. Ah, it's up there. This Ralphie Ardnahoe is up there with the best Ardnahoe I've ever had. No word of a lie, and it's so funny. Because I tried it and I've said it to other people, and they've came back to me and they've been like, "No, it's phenomenal." And I've told this story many a time, but Ralphie never picked it. He just trusted the guys at the distillery to pick him a good cask and put his name on it, his faith, and they absolutely knocked it out of the park. Still, it's so good. It's so good. Whiskey mechanic. Well, I want to marry that Octomore lassie. I'll let her know. There's a guy on the internet who wants to marry. She loved it, and I even said to her this week, I was like, do you smoke? And she's like, no. I was like, are you sure? And she's like, no, I don't. I was like, what was the deal with that? And she goes, it was lovely. She doesn't like whiskey, and took her through the range, and she just fell in love with that. I find that's what I love about whiskey, is just how much you can pull people out. I'm saying always a good sign when you raise more than the cost of the drink. Been to a few charity events where they've been raising up cover the bar time. No, in those ones, the cost of the drink doesn't matter because it's sunk cost. It's my whiskey. I take the whiskey. Everything in the whiskey exchange don't take a hit. Don't take any money either. So everything that goes in is just for them. And then what I did was at the end, before it, I said, if you want more, after we did the two kind of runs round, but they were only 15 mils. But I never topped them up in between. So they had 15 mil each and they took their time. But I said, if you want more, and I had a QR code, I was like, scan the QR code, took it straight to the Just Giving page or whatever it was, and donate a fiver. Just fling a fiver and I'll give you more. So we just did it really easy, but it was just it's a great excuse to get people together, get them into whiskey, guilt free. Because I'm doing it through work, the companies are paying. The people are going, but the companies are paying. So everybody's winning at that. And we just have a really good laugh every year. So if you've ever got an opportunity to do a whiskey tasting and you think, I don't know how to do a whiskey tasting, just do it. People don't know, the mass majority of people don't know enough about whiskey that you know. And so you will always be an expert in their head, and you just talk them through what they're having, and it's brilliant. Let me see what's going on. I think everybody's starting to get a wee bit excited. I'm seeing about Glasgow. Billy saying, one of the few Saturday nights I can't keep up to them, but a full day job and 6 hours whiskey drinking takes its toll. Thanks for coming over and good night. Billy, always a pleasure, mate. Keep safe. It's deepest, darkest Norwegian season, isn't it, up there? But always a pleasure to have you. I will be back. Just update for everybody. Be back the week after next. There was part of me that was really wanting to try and attempt to live stream from Glasgow, and nothing good will come of that. Nothing good. Like, you imagine? It's better to just go on Instagram and see the stories. But Billy, see you in a couple of weeks, mate. All the best. Thanks for joining, as always. I will admit, not having the background music tonight has been very unsettling for me. I'm not used to just having something, so when I take a sip, I feel like there's still not dead air out there. But that's what it is. Right. Last 5-10 minutes, guys. It's been a long night for everybody, especially with the OSWAs. Fire away, any questions, anything like that. But I will say that Jim's off. Jim, see you in Glasgow. All the best, mate. Next week, mental. I'm buzzing. Cannot wait. I feel like I'm like a lad's holiday when I was 18. I'm so excited just to be around everybody talking about whiskey. My day-to-day life, I don't have that opportunity. Glasgow next week. I would love to know, guys, if you're not going to Glasgow, what would you like to see of the Glasgow Whisky Festival? As I said, I'm going to try and do it vlog style. Wee bit flying the wall-esque, in and out, going places, trying stuff, doing all that kind of stuff. But it's not going to be super in depth. We're not going to be doing like mad tasting notes or anything at the festival because it's really difficult. And also after like 4 drams, people's palates freaking all over the place. So let me know what you'd like to see in Glasgow. For me, it's going to be just try to capture the vibe. I tried last year. I was trying to do too much last year, and that's why the video I ended up making was like a combination of Edinburgh, Glasgow, and London. This year I want to just do like a whiskey weekender, the Glasgow Whisky Weekender type vibe. I'm just seeing if there's anything. Whiskey Mechanics saying, if you're near Edinburgh, check out the Belfry bar. They do good value whiskey tasting. Yeah, no, I've heard that. I've heard Belfry, and there's a couple in Edinburgh I need to check out. I looked at trying to go to Edinburgh in December for a day trip. Get up, do some filming, go around the bars, take photos for drams in the run. But the problem is I would need to drive to the airport early to get up early enough. I can't drive back to the airport. So it's a bit of a catch-22. Oh God, I've just seen Alan's comment there. I'm not going. I want radio silence. It's not happening. Lol. I know, mate. I know the FOMO. Next year, get yourself down for next year. Book it in far in advance. It's great. I'm hoping last year wasn't just an anomaly, but it's genuinely if you've seen that whiskey show video that I did, talking about the differences of each video, like each festival. Glasgow just feels like community. It just feels like whiskey geeks all together, and it's brilliant. And that's why my mates are coming up this year as well, because they're just like, can't wait. You just talk to people about whiskey all the time, and then Toby saying, as a proper Glaswegian, you have to have secret insights that you feel as others need to know. It's been a long time since I feel like I can call myself a proper Glaswegian. Been down here a long time, but no, it's. I feel like in the pub scene and stuff, it's more Glasgow has this reputation as being this really rough and ready city. I honestly find it so friendly. I think we overindulge people with our friendliness because we're so keen for them to think that it's not a dangerous city, so we're like super friendly. And I think just on that note, this was something I was thinking about earlier. There's a lot of toxicity in the world at the moment, and a lot of just every angle, a lot of hate, a lot of like anger, and a lot of this. And I find it so refreshing that for a predominantly male space, just how inclusive and how like welcoming and how friendly the whiskey community is. And I think, don't want to pat ourselves on the back, but I think that should be kind of like praised. And by that, I know that you'll still get the arsehole that will say to the women, oh, do you even like whiskey at the shows and the bars, whatever, and that'll happen anywhere. And it's no right. But I think in whiskey in general, like, the community is fantastic. And so when I went to Glasgow last year, I was just taken aback by just how lovely it was. And I don't use that word lightly. Like, it was still 95% men at the show, but there was like the one or two guys that came for a piss up and got too drunk, and the rest, everybody would just chat. And I think we are Glaswegians, west of Scotland, like to talk. We like to talk, and you just put all these people together with whiskey and a couple of pints of Tennent's beforehand and a couple of pints after, and it's just the friendliest, nicest thing. So if you've not been, mark it down for next year. Find a way. If you need tickets next year, you will get tickets. If you mark it down, you will be able to get tickets. The only one I would say similar vibe from people that I get is Limburg in Germany, where people talk about it with such warmth that I get FOMO of that. But let me see. Can you preserve any whiskey in a sample bottle from these events? That would be my preference for a value trip. Nah. Not making it home. Nothing's making it home. I am taking a suitcase up this year to pick some up, because I'm taking some bottles up to share, and then if I buy some, I'll bring some down. I just want to make sure I've got it. And I've said to the boys that I'm going up with, look, I'll have a suitcase so you can just stick it in mine, and then you'll never see it again. But it's fine. Right, guys. On that note, we've hit midnight. It's been a long old shift for us whiskey boys tonight. It's been since what, like 6 o'clock, 6 hours. We're doing well. I don't know. Did the
Hi there.
Does he work? Is he coming through?
Hello.
Yeah, I think no music works, but yeah.
But if I ever see
Yeah.
you nosing it like this,
Oh God.
I'll kill you.
And on that note, I think it's time for me to say good night. But guys, as always, thank you so much for joining me. Everybody that's done like the donations tonight for the food bank, everything. It'll all be logged. You'll see it in the video, but you'll also see it on Instagram. Massive shout out to the gifted subscriptions, or no subscriptions, memberships. Overwhelmed. Thank you so much, guys. OSWA's, what a gig. And next week. So if you don't follow Drinks Whisky on Instagram, one word, same as here. If you do follow, be prepared. And I look out this week for the latest installment of Drams on the Run, part 2. And if you're not already a Patreon, if you sign up at patreon.com/Drinks Whisky, you can sign up there and you can access it without the ads. Right, guys, as always, thank you so much, and I'll see you.